Hi guys, Ramirez Diamond here, recording for June YGO, Billy G Games, and Jado YGO. And we are here with the man, the myth, the legend, the champion of the hour, Leonidas McMillan. What did you play today, and what did you do?
We played Kashtira because we're not scared of Nibiru.
Let's go! And what did you do today?
8-0 at Seattle Regional, 213 players.
Yeah. The man said undefeated.
And I didn't let it shake me.
Okay. So before we get into the list, do you have any shoutouts?
I have shoutouts to too many people. I would like to shout out to the Scythe Cord, all the testing homies. We pretty much quit our jobs and just said, let's test all day. And we've been doing it for a few weeks. We did it for Pasadena, now we're doing it again. Shoutouts to Vegas, we're coming. I'd like to shout out to Team Saiyan. I'd like to shout out to Elijah, Chris, Ramiro, everyone who helps me out. The Cardex team, all the boys, everyone at Locals, y'all know who you are. You're helping me get better every day, even if I don't show up.
Yeah, love to hear it, man. Everyone in the Seattle community knows you and loves you, man.
Hell yeah.
Now let's get into the list.
All right, so I played pure Kashtira, a beautiful Japanese judge mat right here, letting you know. I pretty much went in and told everyone, I'm playing Kashtira, try and stop me. So let's start. You play this list pretty similarly. I think everyone does. I put in a few spicy texts that will no longer be legal in a little while. So we play 3 of the planet. The planet's a Rhoda. The deck needs 1-card starters. This is maybe the strongest 1-card starter if you think about it, because you get the extra effects of buffing your board for every attribute. This card's pop can come up. This card's ability to make your board unmovable really boosts the deck. I will say this deck with this spell on the field is a different deck without this spell on the field. Really strong card, kind of obviously not underrated, but it's really strong, and it may be stronger than people even give it credit for. We play Terraforming because it's another copy of that, and if the card's that good, you want to search it, right? We go with the rest of the really strong monster lineup here. These cards are all mandatory 3-ofs. You search Fenrir. Fenrir is the craziest board breaker maybe ever printed. The fact that he triggers on attack declaration really changes the way this deck can handle boards. Today, you think, oh, dude, this guy just dropped 12 shifters on people. I only played shifter in 5 games today. Out of, well, how many did I play?
Well, there were 8 rounds.
Yeah, 8 rounds. So
was it?
Most of them, a fair majority were game 3. So 5 games out of maybe 15 games, 20 games.
Sounds about right.
That's 30%, right? That's the amount you're gonna draw it. These cards right here help break boards better and stop your opponent from being able to just blow you out. Maybe better than shifter in some cases, especially against decks not named tier elements. So this card searches any other Kashtira monster. All the Kashtira monsters are broken, so he's really good. Unicorn searches any Kashtira spell. The Kashtira spells are all really broken, so he's really good. This card. Now this card seemingly seems very weak, but the cool thing about him is that he banishes for cost. So there are sometimes plays where he becomes a 2-card combo that is full combo that you do not see lines to if you're not super familiar with how the deck works. Because he can get impermed and his effect is still going to banish for cost, you can kind of use him as a bait to kind of, if you know your opponent has some interaction, you just want to get it out of the way, you just use him. And you don't really need his effect that badly, because all it's gonna really do is banish 3 cards off the top of your opponent's extra deck. If some point in the turn you can resolve Shangri-La, the other Xyz monster here, you can just overlay a Rise Heart on him even if he's a 4. So it still ends up being that he actually makes your board really resilient to being able to be broken.
So, do you feel that hitting the Rise Heart impairs in any way your ability to resolve the effect of Shangri-La?
People multiple times today impermed this card. I will say that I ended on boards that they could not break 90% of the time after they hand trapped me any number of times. I multiple games got hit with Imperm and Ash. Multiple games got hit with Nibiru, Book of Eclipse going into their boards, and none of it mattered. So I think that interrupting this card specifically may not be as impactful as I once used to think. I used to think that if you imperm this card, maybe the deck is dead. But after today, I don't believe it.
So there's probably other ways to banish face down that don't necessarily.
You get to trigger some generally, even if you use him. Yeah, so there just seems to be infinite ways to roam, and you're always going to get to where you want to go, at least to some place good. Then we're playing these cards. These cards are all utility cards. Scareclaw Kashtira is a 2-of. I think he's a 2-of, and I think he may be the best non-normalized monster in the engine. One of the ones that does a banished special. He's definitively the best one. Him plus Fenrir might break nearly any board in the game. He negates the monster's effect on attack declaration. So when you declare Fenrir into a monster that's a problem, you can now use Fenrir to banish another monster without worrying about the problem. So this allows you a lot of utility because these two usually end up clearing 3 things, which seems like a little, but it's actually a lot because you're not committing barely anything at all to do this. This is like free. You will get to this every single hand. So I think this card is really under being represented. People are not using it correctly. A lot of times I OTK'd with these 3 cards and a planet. If your opponent does not have some way to stop you and they only have 1 monster on field of importance, this board clears the whole field. But if it doesn't need to just clear the whole field, if they just have 1 monster, like for instance an Avermax, which happened to me today, you declare into the Avermax, to negate the Avermax, banish the Avermax, swing for game. So this little setup right here is 3 summons and may be the strongest going second end board we even have in the deck. So Scareclaw, really, really underrepresented. Maybe one of the strongest cards in the entire deck. The fact that he negates monsters on attack declaration makes him very, very, very strong. Tier Cash. You play one of this card because this card helps you make the 3 material arise when you don't have a way to the 3 material arise. So this card specials by banishing a card, either from hand or field. So when you banish the card, right, Arise will trigger mandatorily, Chainlink 1 to add, and then this card will trigger Chainlink 2 to mill. So when those mills happen, they will let the Arise get another mandatory Chainlink 1 and almost guarantee he has 3 materials. Really, really strong card in the deck. Pretty weak otherwise. You don't really use it for anything else. Theosis and Birth. I believe they're both mandatorily 3-ofs. They're both just too strong to pass up on cutting down on any of them. Birth is not a brick. People think that you run maybe 2 Birth. Some people think you run 1 Birth. Birth is the strongest card in the game. You top deck Birth, if they don't have interaction, they're gonna lose because you bring back the unicorn you had last turn and you full combo again. And you do this every turn you have Birth. They have to get rid of this card or else you just win. And if you play multiples, they can get rid of it and you put another one. Oh, that feels really nice. Theosis. Theosis is such a crazy card because of the second effect. So first effect, it gets to E-Telly essentially out any of these monsters, right? Really nice. But the fact that it E-Tellies isn't the crazy part. The fact that it puts the monster in defense position and Scareclaw Cash activates and can attack in defense position makes this card one of the most broken board breakers in the deck. Because people think you're gonna go for Fenrir. But why go for Fenrir when you get a monster that's going to negate their monsters on field through battle? Theosis is really, really strong going second and really strong going first. Obviously, this card facilitates most of the full combos. So I can't say any more about it. Birth, Theosis, they're both really good. I prefer Birth, but Theosis is crucial. Both are really strong. If you have Ash, you better Ash that Theosis. Next, Big Bang. Mandatory brick. It's not that good. It sucks to draw, but the fact that you get to special another cash body when you banish it for cost off Arise off Rise Heart, the main deck monster, is really, really strong. And if you ever do need to set it and you just get into some weird simplified game state where you used Theosis and maybe your only banished cash card was this card, this plus Shangri-La actually kind of fucks up a lot of shit. Because you banish all their monsters face down, and it triggers the Shang. So really, really strong. It's still a brick, but it can come up in weird niche situations. Starting again from non-engine, we play 3 Prosperity. This was a pretty hard call for me. I think this card is really obviously amazing, but the problem with this card is if you play into a mirror and they set up the Diabolos line, you might end up blocking 2 more of your zones, which you really don't want, and the Mind Hacker's gonna banish like 40 cards, so you're kind of like, I don't want to do that. But the card worked out really well for me today. I played mostly Tear Elements. Digging 6 deep for a card you really need in this deck, in this build, seems to be the way to go. I won most of my games going second and most of my games going first. So I think I only got full tier comboed twice because I didn't let them do it to me. Prosperity really helped.
So did you sight it out in the mirror, and was it at all a problem in the mirror?
I played no mirrors, so I probably would have sighted it out if I had gone into a mirror. But my deck is very ill prepared for a mirror for funny reasons. 3 Shifter. Best hand trap of the format. If you can use it, use it. If you can't, get fucked. This thing is going to be staying around probably until the end of time. I don't see Konami ever banning this card, even though it seems wildly unfair now that we have decks that can actually use it. But it does go both turns, so there's arguments to be saying it's fair, but it really hurts graveyard strategies, and it kind of sucks. But you play it in this deck because you really don't care about your graveyard at all. And it actually kind of pluses you sometimes. If your opponent is on Tier Elements, you do not ever drop this in the draw phase. You do not ever drop this in the standby phase. You drop this on Kit Kalos, target herself, or Agido, whichever one comes first. If you think that you drop this in the standby phase, you've never been Gammed. And yeah, they have Orange Light, they can hit it, but Orange Light's 1. So you're more likely to have this card after they play a little bit without an Earth Fairy in hand, because a lot of their first plays are with Earth Fairies if they have them. So yeah, this sometimes plays around Orange Light pretty easily. On Agido, this card can mill you because you mill Theosis and a cash, and then you get to add that cash to hand. So you always do it later. You never do it. Don't shotgun it, okay? Don't be a noob. 3 Imperm. Funny thing, you never Imperm on your opponent's turn. This card is to stop dumb shit. This is for Baguska, this is for Apollosa, this is for things that hurt you that you cannot stop with your engine. If Fenrir cannot get into battle position for Baguska, then you need to Imperm this. You never use this as an interruption to stop your opponent, ever. I never did today, and I probably never would playing this deck. This is a board breaker deck. You just use this as something to stop one of your board breakers from going through.
So did you consider Chalice if you were mostly using it on your turn?
Chalice could be considered. There is only one time you use this on your opponent's turn, and it's if you had Agido and you did not, if you got Agido'd and you did not Shifter. Then you don't really care, and you probably just Imperm the kit just because the advantage off that is just too crazy. I think in the mirror, this card is probably mandatory, because you really can stop their whole zone lock bullshit turn 1 if you just Imperm the Shang. Because the Shang can never resolve, right? And so you can never lose any zones. Then it comes to your turn. If they use Shang's effect, you just triple attack, take that bitch, and Zeus. So yeah, I think you very rarely use it as a hand trap. That's kind of just my opinion. It doesn't seem to work out. I played 2 triple attacks in the main. These got thrown in last minute because I didn't bring my Ash Blossoms.
Would you have played Ash Blossom at 2 if you had the opportunity?
I would have played Ash Blossom at 3. Because today I actually got Book of Eclipse like 6 times. 6 times. My build is very resilient to Book of Eclipse, so that's the only reason I didn't just get blown out multiple times. But triple attack is good. I mean, there was times where I used it to draw. There was times that I used it to mill, but the one problem is no one is brave enough to hand trap this deck. They will never Ash you. They will only Imperm you. So you're never really going to get a monster effect on your turn. So you don't get the hand rip, which is like the most broken part. And you can use it to take a monster, but I don't really care about my opponent's monsters because they all suck. So, yeah.
So if you had access to the Ash Blossom, would the deck have been one card bigger?
No, the deck wouldn't have been one card bigger. I would have cut one card. Yeah. So then we'll go here to the star of the show, Lava Golem. You play this card at 3, and I think it's mandatory. This deck really is a one-game plan deck. You do your thing, you either get blown the fuck out or you win. It's really, really good at breaking boards, and this card just makes it better. It's really good against tier elements because they very, very rarely end on 2 tier names. And if they don't know what they're doing against this deck and they didn't search Hav or they didn't search tier cache, they actually lose the game on the spot just from this one card. Because our engine beats all of their non-engine cards, and if they don't have access to the traps and you tributed their tiers for cost under Shifter, they just don't get to play. It outs Baguska, it outs a lot of dumb shit, it burns for time. The deck never goes to time. You either win or you lose. So Golem is really, really good. Strongest removal. You could use it multiple times. You draw 2, you're not feeling bad. You just go boom, 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 right? So really, really strong card. Possibly broken, maybe bannable. Who knows? I don't write the ban list. All right. Now for the really fucked up shit. 1 Barrier Statue, 1 Necrovalley, and 1 set rotation. So tier elements, I really, really noticed something. It seems like their back row is the problem. I never, ever once have been scared of the board that Tiers makes. Lulu Kalos doesn't scare me. Kaleido Heart doesn't scare me. Stapella doesn't scare me. This deck is insane. I play through all of those things. So if I have a set rotation and I can give them a Necro Valley, or I can just play Necro Valley on my turn with set rotation after going full combo, I'm feeling pretty good. Set rotation, used offensively and defensively in this deck, used to either grab this or grab the planet to start plays, or give them the Necro Valley, and then if they flip the Necro Valley, they're stuck under it because they can't play a new field spell. If I didn't flip mine, lots of use, right? Really, really messed up card, and also really messed up card. If you put this on your end board, it doesn't really matter against Tiers. They just lose. They don't play Fenrir. They should. You guys should start playing Fenrir. If they did, they probably out this, but there's just too many other things that can interrupt them. This card is really broken into Tiers, so I played it today. A lot of Tiers. I knew there still would be. Barrier Statue. Let's all be happy it's banned. I'm gonna show you a combo later that shows you that Konami had some foresight and they love us, okay? This should have never been legal with this deck, not even for 2 days. All right, let's go to the extra deck. It's really simple. 2 Shank, 2 Arise Heart, 1 Diabolos, 2 Zeus, Dracosac, Titanic Moth, Big Eye, 2 Lingaribo, the BLS Link, Almirage, and the Arsenal Falcon. So, what we're looking at here is not too crazy. You need 2 Lingaribos. If they Ibly lock you, you are feeling bad, okay? You need to have the outs for it. And if they do the Diabolos combo, which is pretty standard for most of the cash players right now, they're gonna rip your 1, and then you're gonna look around and say, oh wow, I don't have any way to play. This sucks. So you need to have 2. Almirage, because we Ibly each other, and we really hate to let people play the game. That's what this deck is all about. We play the 1 Diabolos. I only play 1 Diabolos because I just can't imagine a world where I need 2. If they rip it, I don't care. I wasn't really caring about looking people's extra decks and ripping important cards. Unicorn does that. I don't need Diabolos to do that. Diabolos seems really broken. Maybe he might be cope. I don't even know if I will play him in the next format. Dracosac. Dracosac, sometimes you just needed a little extra push to help break the board, and Dracosac provided that. I played it twice today. It didn't seem super crazy, but I used it to pop 2 things and then make Zeus. Titanic Moth, this is our Zeus enabler. It's able to attack directly and burn, so it's kind of a time card and a Zeus enabler at the same time. It did not ever come up today. I think in the mirror it comes up a lot. Big Eye. This card definitely should have been at 2. I was really playing it fast and loose, not running into other Kashtiras today. Big Eye is the best card in the mirror. You probably need to play 2 of him. I know for sure there's one card we can cut looking at right here, and we'll go over in a second to put in the second Big Eye. But yeah, Big Eye, he's really, really good. He's not so hard once, so if they have a Big Eye, you steal their Big Eye, use their Big Eye, steal something else. It's really broken. Let's do this one. The BLS link. Today, the BLS link outed Baguska twice for me. I don't think the BLS link is mandatory. I think there's probably other things you could play. He just seems like in a tier elements format to be a really good card. He's really big, can't be destroyed, cannot be targeted. So once they're dealing with a 4500 body that does that, tiers really struggles. He came up a few times today. I don't think he's mandatory. The Scareclaw Kashtira does kind of the same thing, but you can get to him sometimes when you can't get to the Scareclaw Kashtira. All right. 2 Shang. You need to play 2 because if they rip 1, you don't have access to your combo in the mirror. It feels bad. 2 Arise, same reason. And 2 Zeus, same exact reason. This deck makes Zeus maybe easier than any other deck. I don't know if I've ever played a deck that makes Zeus really easy like this. And you can just feel his power, his presence. You know what I mean? He's just got it all. These 2 cards, we'll go over them a little bit more right now. Shang activates every standby. That recurrence and ability to continue to grind makes this deck viable into a lot of matchups that you just don't think you could win. Today, they Book of Eclipsed me multiple times, and I was ending on a board so wide with Planet and so big that they could not get over these because I had so many different attributes that my field was just huge and boosted. And these cards' defense was too large. Both of these cards' defense was too large for them to get over. Even after they eclipsed me, they had no way to out these cards. So in the end phase, they flipped up, I draw 2, and I'm back to the races with a macro and a recurring zone lock plus special from deck. Really, really strong cards. I think the deck does one thing, like I said earlier, and it does it well. All right, let's go over our last buddy here. Why, Konami? Why? Why can he summon any level 4 or lower wing beast from deck? Why? Why, Konami? All right, that's all I have to say. Let's go to the side deck. We got Change of Heart, Duster, Pankratops. Pankratops won me multiple games today. I think he overperformed. I didn't think he was going to be that good. He ended up being able to bait like most of the interaction just by himself. And just going to battle with him just seems like too strong. A lot of decks weren't even able to deal, including Tears. The fact that he can pop the back row, so they were on meta noise. So I would just go Pank, threaten battle. They would do a bunch of stuff. Then I would go Pank to pop the meta noise that I knew was back there. Start playing. So really, really good card. Stops a lot of the very dumb shit that we lose to, like meta noise. Change of Heart. Change of Heart's really crazy. A lot of people are ending on Fenrir on their main board. You just take it and start your whole combo. You can do it after you special Unicorn. So special Unicorn, Change of Heart, take their Fenrir. And then you are really off to the races because you haven't used Unicorn's effect and they have to stop that Fenrir or else you're just going crazy. Duster. This deck loses to back row. Why not clear the back row before you start playing? In the same vein, Lightning Storm. Like I said, this deck loses to back row more than front row. It doesn't really matter what monsters they have. You could deal with them, but you can't deal with the cards in the back row. Here's the funny parts. 3 Dark Ruler and 3 Grave Creepers Inscription. So I showed up at the regional and I loaned this deck to someone else. Didn't expect to play this deck today. And they handed me back the deck with a bunch of weird cards that I didn't give to them. So they gave me back these. I wished these were evenlies. They really would have put in some work today. I know I went 8-0 and I can't complain, but I think if these were evenlies, it would have been even more objectively 8-0. Yeah, I never put them in. I never used them. I don't even want to use them. I don't know why they're here. So sorry everyone who thinks this card's good. Dark Ruler. Thought I'd play Sprite. Didn't play Sprite. It didn't even really matter. I think my engine just out Sprite, but I put it in there for them and I never needed it. I didn't play them. I put it in against Pen, but Pen really struggles when you lock a zone. And then the last most fucked up card. Ibli. Oh, why, Konami? Why? What's wrong with you? Why do you want to hurt us so bad? Yeah, they let you Ibli lock in this deck. I think it should just lock you into Xyz, like, if you special one of them. Why were we allowed to do this? Alright, Ibli's really fucked up, and it's legal, so we do it. You actually don't even really play this card to lock your opponent. It's just to stop Nibiru. You don't even care if they can't special. You just play it so you do not get Nibiru. It loses to a Bestial, thank God. Thank God. I hope they draw the out. Alright.
Yeah, shout outs to Steven Sheet and his online deck.
Yeah, shout out Steven. You taught me how to play Border Stun without playing Border. Alright, let's go over a quick combo. Really, really easy. Easy peasy. Yeah. I think this is a 2-card combo, right? Yeah. Okay. Alright, maybe I suck. Planet. Planet, search, unicorn. Unicorn. Unicorn effect. Search. Theosis. Theosis, target unicorn. Special, Fenrir. Fenrir effect. Grab. Rise Heart. Normal summon, Ibli. Link. Doll Mirage. Ibli effect. Special, Rise. Overlay. Rise effect. Overlay into Shang. Rise effect. Banish, Big Bang. Chainlink 1, target the Pendulum Zone because we hate them. Chainlink 2, Big Bang, target Shang. We detach and special. Here we go. Overlay. Into the Raid Raptor, Arsenal Falcon. Arsenal Falcon's effect. Special, the Barrier Statue. I do this every turn 1, and it never fails, because that's 2 cards, and I open 5 cards. This is broken, and I'm glad it's only legal for 2 days, because it normally ends with 1 more card in hand. Scare Clash. So what do we do here if we didn't activate this yet? We still make this, but we go Scare Clash to special before we activate, then we overlay for our Macrocosmos because it's just so nice, then we detach, then we attach, then we use, then we attach. I made this board every single time I went first. And this board loses to 1 card, Book of Eclipse. And if they don't draw a Book of Eclipse, they lose the game. I'm very glad Konami had the foresight to ban the Barrier Statue before it became legal. So that's my take. If anyone else has any questions, I can show you kind of how to go second with the deck. Just a little preview proxy. So what you do, if you're going second into what looks like an unbreakable board.
Also, reminder to the people at home, please Ibli before you resolve Theosis.
Yeah, you should have Ibly right after Unicorn, because you played in the nib there. So Almirage was the 5th summon.
Almirage was the 5th summon? Almirage was the 3rd, 4th summon.
Did I miscount that?
You also...
Almirage was
But
the
you
4th
summoned
summon.
Rise. You summoned Rise. You went Unicorn, Fenrir, Rise. Then
Nope. I did Rise
Did I
after.
miscount? Oh. I'm terrible at counting.
Yeah. That's okay.
He's just too good. But yeah, no, you played in the Gamma there, though. What were you doing?
Quiet you.
The man's the champion. Let the champion speak.
Let him speak.
Here we go. So this is pretty common. This is really common, and it's ridiculous. So in your going second 6-card hand, if you don't see this card in the opening, you prosp for it. Because prosp is broken, and it lets you dig for 6 cards. This right here breaks almost every board, just 2 cards. Tribute, special, attack, declare, banish, attack over something smaller. Just a quick intro onto how this deck works. And then you can main 2, search. If you have Birth in hand, this becomes really fucked up because you search Rise Heart, special Rise effect to banish Unicorn, Birth to bring back Unicorn effect, Papyrus, target Unicorn, bring back Scare Cash. Or don't. You can just save it. You don't want to play into Nib. And you can, in 4 summons, make an a Rise Heart. And Macrocosmos is pretty nice, I heard. So yeah, this deck's pretty broken. Lots of ways to break boards, lots of ways to play going first and second. I think maybe it might break boards better than it sets up boards, and you saw the board I set up. So yeah, one thing to say, we'll talk about how I feel like the deck will do after. The barrier statue is going to change this deck significantly. I think right now, one of the big ways I was able to win going first was the barrier statue. I know the branded matchup is terrible. Maybe unwinnable. I am not sure yet. We've been testing a lot. If you don't draw Ash Blossom, you feel like you get blown out. But we know that we'll be able to take out these cards because this one's banned. This one's not that crazy anymore. And actually, maybe we still play it because we can play Primeval Planet to search for the tier cache. But yeah, we definitely won't be playing these cards next format. This might be the greatest blind second deck of all time. So there is some argument that you don't go for the Diabolos locks because they're pretty fragile to Super Poly and they're very fragile to Nib. And you just blind second with this deck because it has an in-archetype Pank and it can play the Golem. So maybe you just play it blind second. That might be the move. I'm not 100% certain yet. I'll do a lot of testing. But today, this felt like a deck that should be banned. For sure, and lots of pieces got banned, so we're happy. If anyone has any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer. 8-0, really good achievement. I think the people who I played against were really strong. I think I played against 4 really strong tier players, and I felt like they had really good chances to win. They didn't misplay really hard, but it was just one card too much every time for them to handle. So hey, maybe it was just my day, or maybe this deck is like severely broken, but if you make that end board every time, yeah, it's pretty crazy. So
well, congrats again, man. And before we go, tell the people, what were your matchups today?
My matchups, I played 5 Ishizu tier, 1 Math Mech, 1 Pendulum, and
Birds.
yeah, 1 Fluunderies. Fluunderies, really funny. The only time I went for the Zone Lock combo, because I thought, those little birds, they can't beat up for anything I got. Double Shang with Diablosis. I didn't set up any interruptions. I was just like, let's make sure all those back row zones are locked. And yeah, he drew 3 Dark Rulers, so poor guy. Yeah, it felt really bad. Also banished how much of his deck face down, who knows. But those poor birds, they just couldn't survive. They got caught in the fire. But yeah, we'll never see him again. Birds is dead too. Let him die.
Yep. Shout out to Ravina.
Yeah, shout out to Ravina. Favorite card?
Yo, shout out Ollie.
Favorite card.
Yes, that's Oliver Desmond.
Shout out to Oliver Desmond. Sorry about your ace monster.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
In memoriam.
Just remember, everyone, don't fear the rock.